Hello, last but not least, my fire signs for the week. Leo, Aries and Sagittarius, male and female readings. I've got 11% of my battery. I'm going to fly through. It's Marina from the Butterfly Pick. Hello. And we're starting with Leo. Leo, you have everyone's in reverse. This has pretty much been a theme for the week. We have a couple of outliers, thank God, that are a little bit more positive, but in the main, everyone's having a bit of a shitty week. So the vulture spirit in reverse, this sort of feels like you feel that an experience just wasn't worth the pain. There was nothing to be gained from it. It's also can be someone who's running away from their past, and you know, spirit stepping in to say not so fast. There is something you've gained from this. You're just not seeing it yet, and that's really important that you work out what it is you've actually learned from the experience, or we're going to give you the same experience. It's also saying that you need to let any sort of grief or anger move through you, pass through you. Not let it overwhelm you. Hang on in there and know at some point you are going to realize this experience was not wasted. There's a really important, valuable lesson in it. I did get go your own way on this. I will put my songs below at some point. So for my feminines, you have the fox, the child, and the dog here. In a nutshell, you have been very loyal and hopeful about a new beginning with someone, maybe about a child, someone who has been deceptive, someone who maybe came across as innocent, but in fact they were not. This is quite a shrewd operator over here. There's someone who's not going to make any moves towards you this week with Tahom the poet. They may actually be watching you. Tahom is very much a watcher. He watches from the wings. He's a stone fairy. He doesn't make any moves. He's very poetic, very young, usually younger than you. He's someone who laughs at himself. He sort of indulges in a little bit of fantasy. He's very youthful. You know, he's very sweet, very, you know, kind of erotic. But he's a watcher, he's not a doer. He may be feeling depressed, or you may be or feeling really pessimistic about the what's at large here, what's gone on. It could very much be that he is feeling defeated because of maybe he's presented himself as a fox, or you've seen him as a fox, you've seen him as manipulative, shrewd, trying to take something from you. And I think you're really disheartened about this. So as I say, you're either really down about this, you have no intentions of moving towards this person, but I specifically asked who Foxy is, and I did get Tahom the poet. So there's someone who's still keeping an eye on you, but they're not going to make any moves towards you because either you see them as deceptive, where you thought they were, you know, they were maybe more honest and true and pure, but you're ultimately very sad, or you feel the experience is wasted. Sad's not the right word, because you've been very loyal to this person. My master maker in reverse here. This is usually a long-term relationship. My master maker, they're like my power couple. You know, they work in tandem together. She's the stability, he's the inspiration, but combined, you know, they're just the bee's knees. They're all about patience. They're a labour of love. They don't cut any corners. It's just, it's a very powerful relationship, a very powerful friendship. It's something that's built over time, and it's built strong and with stability. And it's in reverse here. So either it just means that it's a broken relationship. I kind of just feel the partnership has broken up. But I think you've felt loyal to it, and you're hopeful with Ilby here, loyal, of getting this back on track, or of it coming back around, or of them coming to claim you. But they're looking the other way. They may actually be dealing with their own issues, so you know, it's not necessarily directed towards you. I think they're possibly looking at their own behaviour, and it is actually making them feel pretty low, and that's really why they're not making a move towards you. But yeah, ultimately, the vulture spirit in reverse, you're sort of at that stage where you think this experience was just, you know, so not worth it. And you kind of will be kept there until you realise there's something very important you need to learn from this, so that you don't, you know, maybe repeat, you know, any mistakes that you know, can highlight that you've made in this relationship, you know, red flags that you've overlooked through your own hopes and fantasies of, you know, a future together. And they might have been staring you in the face and you chose not to see them, and that's maybe what you need to look at. But there is something to be gleaned from it. Nonetheless, it is just a weekly. Leo males, you have the mountain, the cross, and the clover here. So this has been very burdened, very sorrowful, that there's, you know, you're blocked, basically. You feel stuck. You don't really know how to get around this. You don't feel able to move on from something. My fairies in the future in reverse here. This is not making any steps forward and not taking any practical steps to overcome your obstacles. It's kind of not being very present as well. It's not envisaging a brighter future. It's so incredibly stuck. It's unbelievable. Now, the lilies here, sorry, the clover is about a little bit of luck. So there might be later on in the week a little glimpse of luck here. Could be monetary. But you need to look out for it. You need to get your head up to look out for the clover. It doesn't come slap bang, you know, in an email to say you've won the lottery. You've literally got to be looking for signs and pay attention to them. Look on the ground, you know, for, you know, pennies or whatever. It does suggest that things are moving pretty slowly for you this week, because this obstacle, this mountain, has a timeline of up to 2 years. So this could have been on for 2 years that you've not been able to move on from something, and it has caused you an enormous amount of sorrow. So I've asked specifically, I'm sure how to make my cards up myself here. Yeah, what's causing the burden? What's causing the sorrow? So there's a broken friendship here with the friends. So it doesn't need to be a romantic relationship. This just might be your own sort of support group, your own social circle that you're no longer mixing with. Could be a very close friend that you wanted help from and they've not been there for you. You've not felt supported from them, from, you know, your friends, your community, your family. And it's put you in a really bad headspace with Epona's wild daughter. With this, the fairies of the future and the sorrow, I do genuinely think this Leo male has got very, very strong depression. Someone who could be having a lot of nightmares, struggling to sleep. Because Epona's an urgent attention, pay attention. Yeah, and that's kind of what the clover is as well. Pay attention, because there is like a little you know, shred of light here that's actually going. I know Geo is incredibly slow, okay, but he does move at snail's pace, because where you are now with these, this is no movement whatsoever. This is complete stagnation and being very, very stuck here, which is what Epona does to you. She holds you in place until you identify the real root of the issue and does not let you move on. And it's indefinitely. She can keep you here. She can literally drive you insane. She's very, very harsh energy. So, but you don't feel that you've got support during this period. So that's a real issue. You need to reach out and speak to someone, even if it's a health professional, Leo. If it's not something you feel you can speak to friends or family about, or they're literally just not there for you, speak to, you know, a professional. I just see this as a little glimmer, because Geo is about moving slow. He's baby steps. He's not in any hurry. But there is something here. There's a wee bit of light. There's just going to be something that's going to lift your spirits ever so slightly. It could be the slightest thing. It could be a chance meeting with someone in the supermarket who's just like super kind to you and lets you take your basket before their trolley, and, you know, tells you, you know, that they like your shoes, or, you know, you've got a sweet smile. It can be the slightest wee thing that just lifts you, and it just reminds you that, you know, humanity isn't all that bad. And I think that might just, you know, put a wee smile on your face and lift your spirits a little, and maybe just see you move on a smidge this week. But do seek help if that's what you require, Leo. And just remember that the experience is not wasted, that you can't run away from your past. The opponent will not let you run away from your past. You have to face it down. You have to deal with it, confront it, deal with the grief, deal with the anger. Just take how much time you want, but at some point you might see some value in what you've gone through, or not, but you're stuck nonetheless. Okay. Oh gosh, Aries, you've got the squirrel spirit in reverse. So this is not really feeling quite good about yourself. It can be that you've taken a wee bit of a knock to your confidence here. This can often happen sometimes when we have trusted someone implicitly, and they have taken advantage of that. They've lied to us, they've cheated us, and we just did not see it coming. You know, you get the real sucker punch stuff. And I think there's an element of this here, and unfortunately, not only does it mean that, you know, that relationship has, you know, gone up in flames, it means that anyone new coming into your life, you then do not trust your own judgment. You don't think you have sufficient discernment, so you become almost, you know, closed off, shut down, because you might do it again and you can't bear to do it again. So I kind of feel that's where you are, Aries. This is telling you that you need to remember, firstly, to relax, that Spirit has your back, that you have come a very long way on your own wits and you are still standing, that you've not to forget the strength and the wisdom that, you know, you have exhibited throughout your life. Even if you've had one bad experience or a dozen, there will be at least some that can counterbalance that into something a bit more equal. And just start to, you know, love on yourself hard. To get those affirmations running through your head 24/7 until you're like, fuck yeah. You know, this is something you really need to work on this week. I mean, it can sometimes suggest issues around money, because my squirrel is, you know, squirreling these wee acorns away for the winter here. And that's something you might not have to do, but it comes from a sense of lack, a sense of worry that there's not going to be enough, when in fact for most of us there is always going to be enough. And it is the fear of there not being enough that actually you know, manifests there not being enough. So, you know, if you look at the law of attraction and come from a place of that you have enough and you confirm that, and you're, you know, really grateful for everything in your life, then, you know, God willing, it should be enough. So I have got the tree card. I got quite excited when I saw this. The man and the stork. So this would sort of suggest that there may be some changes afoot with regards to a man and their health. I would normally see the, especially when it's upright, this is usually good health. So if someone has been poorly, then they're going to see, you know, maybe an uplift in their health. But I actually think what's going on here is that someone wants to confess to you or have a conversation with you about their health. Himself in reverse here is my divine masculine in reverse. So this is someone who's not stable. It's someone who's not got much energy. He's been very low in energy. It's someone who can have who's been very stubborn, can be a little bit very much controlling. Can be a father figure that you've been dealing with, because he is all about responsibility, mainly parental responsibility. So it could be like an absent father, something like that. But it's they want to have this conversation with you, and it's a very emotional conversation with the honesty card here. They want to lay bare why they haven't, why things have remained stuck, why things haven't progressed between you. Because I've got Nellis, the alchemist, in reverse here, and Nellis comes in, waves her wand, and unsticks everything that's stuck. She's really, really positive, and she shows you the path. And she's all about transformation and getting ready. So the conversation I want to have is why things haven't progressed, why things may be grind to a halt. I do think it's specifically around their actual physical or mental health that has been the issue, and that there's changes afoot. Usually quite positive. It can mean travel, it can mean air travel. It may be a man that's actually traveling to see you, or is traveling away from you. It's hard to say. I do have my Lom card here, and this is what my probably my oldest couple. The Lom, she's very much about unconditional loving and giving, and nurturing, and she's just so incredibly patient and charitable. While she's sat on her little doofus of a stone man here. I mean, sometimes I see her and I think she's pretty comfortable there, but most of the time I think she's just exhausted with him. She's always got her face in the clouds, you know, not the clouds, sorry, the moon. She's just so chill, so relaxed. She does her volunteer work. She keeps everything so. She just gives. But she gives to the point that, you know, her wings are totally shattered. And I often think she's underappreciated and taken for granted. And when you see her in reverse, I kind of feel she never really comes back. She is still upright here. So it would suggest that there is, you know, there is still love here. There's at least some affection between whoever this couple was. So yeah, there you go, Aries females. I think someone's coming towards you this week. Maybe they've lost confidence, maybe you've lost confidence, but I think there is going to be an open, honest conversation, maybe about why things stalled, or, you know, just didn't turn out well, or I think it's particularly is either a lot to do with their past history, their own sort of you know, lineage, their family history, their family tree, but in the main it's about their physical or mental health. And for my Aries males, where did it go? Oh, I dropped everything, it's a mess, I'm gone. That was there, that was there, that one's there. Sorry, I mushed everything up and I'm trying to remember where everything is. Oh, hang on. Yeah, right, she's here. That's there. Sorry. Are we there? Where was Iris then? Oh, gosh, I don't know. Right, my Aries males, you've got the mask and the moon. Basically, and the thing about Lenormand over tarot, I think tarot is quite philosophical or, you know, psychological, and you can get into a lot of depth and, you know, all that stuff, good stuff. Lenormand, in particular, I'm learning Cartman sages now, and my, oh god, it's like so direct, it's almost rude. I quite like it. But this is basically saying you're known as someone who wears a mask, straight up, and any fears you've got about your reputation are justified. You are wearing a mask with regards to Lascuna. You could be making out that you're on some wild adventure somewhere, that you're exploring, that you're traveling, or that you're, you know, doing a lot of deep diving and self-evaluation. But I got to tell you, nobody's buying it because you're known as someone who wears a mask. There's definitely another card on this. Hang on. Yeah, that was on the mask as well. Yeah, so as I say, it's like you're making out you're on your travels, like you're, you know, a globetrotter, and you're not. You're at home on your PlayStation. And the fact is, if you're saying you're somewhere you're not, Aries males in particular, people know, you know. They know that it's a front. They know you're talking absolute garbage because you're known for wearing a mask. That's literally what I'm saying. It's just so direct. Now, you could be here because, hi baby, you've got issues with your own self-esteem again. You've had a knock to your confidence and it's set you, you know, deep diving with Lascuna here. And that you're not able to move on from this just yet. As I say, the moon can also mean work. So if you've got any concerns about your work, whatever they may be, it's suggesting that they're justified. Jehovah in reverse is justified fears, they're not imaginary. So if you think there's something going on at work, let me just have another wee look. See if that would help you. What is the moon card for my Aries male? If it's work, too many. Let's see my soul shrinker. What is the moon card for Aries male if it's work? The feline in reverse. Feline in reverse is this sort of feels like sometimes giving up. In its upright position, it can be about delayed completions. It's someone who's really pissed off and very demanding, very offended. What's my feline in reverse for Aries male? Feline in reverse for Aries male. I've not got much of a deck to go on actually. Let's just slam a couple back in there. This is of a work situation. I think it might be useful for you to know, because the moon is about your reputation and what you're known for, or it is specifically about work. I'm just going to pop a few more in. Aries male. Oh, crikey. I've now seen the soul shrinker and the bodacious bodach. What is the feline in reverse with the moon for my Aries male? Yeah, I mean, this is not good at all. This is in reverse. Epona is you know, it's not like you're coming out of your nightmares. Let me just have a look. You may be worried about your health. This is like, I mean, it is basically the meaning I've already given. Or did I give it in this reading? It might have been my water reading, sorry. She's about mental imbalance, nightmares, being very stuck, trying to deal with something that's very, very buried, like way back in our childhood, that we're in denial about, and something that we have to face. But when she's in reverse, this is sort of suggesting that this resolution might be even more buried than we can possibly imagine. What do our nightmares tell us, Aries males? If you're having nightmares, they're trying to tell you something here. So if it is just a work situation, it's something you're genuinely worried about. Your fears are justified. So, you know, bear that in mind. If it is a health issue, it's something that you really need to get to the bottom of. And I'm conscious that my Aries female got the health card as well. Why's my feline in reverse for my Aries male? Why's my feline in reverse for my Aries male? One more. Why's my feline in reverse for my Aries male? Why is feline in reverse for my Aries male? Please put it. Why is the feline in reverse here for my Aries male? Why is the feline in reverse? Why is the feline in reverse? Okay. Right, so there might be a legal situation you're dealing with, Aries, that's just not seeing much progress at all. It might literally be exhausting for you with the Eight of Pentacles at the base as well. Yeah. What are you feeling? Jehovah, what are you feeling that's justified? What are you feeling with Aries male? Feeling. You're fearing delays, that this is taking too long. You're fearing that you're not going to get the answers, you're not going to get a resolution, and that you're going to drop some balls in the progress here. You're not going to be able to continually juggling everything It's my robbing Peter to pay Paul card of its finances. Waiting on this resolution. It might be making you physically sick. Why is opponent's well daughter here? Yeah, that's sideways. That's my Four of Swords. So this is like healing. It's this is coming home after the wars. Needing a time out, needing to recuperate physically, mentally. It actually could even be from surgery. And you're just praying that this resolves itself and that you're able to move on with the journey card here. Yeah, because we're not happy. And there's no clarity. There's complete confusion around the situation. Right, I'm going to leave it there. It is just a weekly. Aries, please do see someone about that. I've said that to my other male, haven't I? My Leo. I'll get some help. I'm not a medical professional, so there's no advice given, but do get professional help. And next up, last but not least, my Sagittarius, who are normally fairly jolly, but they're in the doldrums as well, because they've got the Sandpiper spirit in reverse, who's my, you know, really light-hearted, playful individual, popping around the beaches, digging his little beak in everywhere, getting into everybody's business, having loads of fun. And now he's in reverse here. So this is that you've got a heavy heart just now. I did get on this, would I lie to you, baby? And my arms are open wide. Yeah, I think you're sad about a relationship here and you're probably very confused. I have got the Sun card, the ship and the clouds. This confusion in the clouds, mental confusion, anxiety, stress, insomnia, darkness, is about a union. You know, some sort of coupledom that you've been involved in, romantic or otherwise. It's an equal partnership that's probably not in a, maybe not in a great place just now. I would suggest that maybe that you might, I mean, initially when I looked at it, you might literally need a wee holiday. You might be thinking of booking a wee holiday somewhere, somewhere abroad, somewhere sunny. Get a bit of sun in your back, get back on the beach, you know, just to distract yourself, and you bring a little more light-heartedness into your life, because this, I think you're confused about this with topsy-turvies. This is suggesting you need to get a different perspective on things, Sagittarius. And I think you might need some distance to do that, just to get yourself away, even if it's for a long weekend. Get yourself in a different environment and get some rays on you. I think your intuition is telling you that, but I do also have that there's been some sort of ending to something that did bring you a lot of happiness, with my ecstasis card here. And I think it's a really painful ending, because ecstasis on its own, it is about healing from the past, but it's my ecstasy card. It's rapture, joy. It's like, you know, being on cloud 9, that real honeymoon phase of a relationship. And but it does actually bring empowerment cards around it. And with the death card here, this is not being able to see the future in something, or something that has naturally run its course. It is a big change, and it does, I sort of feel, I just feel it feels sudden, because there's a lot of lovely cards here, and yet the clouds is really, really rough energy. So in a nutshell, if you're able to try and get your playful, light-hearted spirit back, to change your perspective, because you may be so fixated on it, so wrapped up in it, that you're not seeing anything else, is try and get a little bit of distance, and try and get, you know, book a wee holiday somewhere. Book a wee holiday somewhere if you can, if you're able to. Okay, and for my Sagittarian males, you've got a female here with the scythe and the garden and the birds. Crikey. Now, I think this might be someone you're speaking to online. This is somebody that may actually make you feel quite anxious. I think you're I kind of got initially that you were actually looking to take it somewhere private. So you might be like speaking to them, you know, on social media, and you know, move into DM stage or texting or whatever. I think you want to keep them out of the public eye and take it more private. But even that is maybe making you a little bit anxious. I think you want to have a conversation with someone that you maybe deal with in public. That's making you anxious. But on clarification, it was a wee bit different. I can work out what's what. Yeah. You want to sort of initiate something here. And initially I thought it'd be initiate the relationship. Maybe it will be for some of you. But you're incredibly indecisive about this relationship. With my Singer of the Chalice in reverse here. I kind of feel there's not a lot of trust here, and there's maybe not a lot of patience with this female that you're dealing with. And maybe things aren't moving on the way that you would like them to. Don't know if you've, you know, been speaking for a while and you're expecting it to move on and progress into something different, but it's kind of not. I'm sort of seeing an ending here by the end of the week, Sagittarius. My Coffin card unleashes the shadows. The Coffin card is basically an ending. It can be quite a sorrowful ending. The Scythe is a little bit painful, but it's more about emitting something publicly. There's something that you don't want handled in public, so you might want to have like a private conversation with someone. Maybe you want to end a relationship with someone. That's what you're trying to initiate, taking you know, the lead here. But you actually want to say that, you know, you want to move on, that maybe you feel that this is quite an oppressive relationship. It's something that's not giving you a lot of joy, but maybe you're a little bit worried that they're going to kick off or, you know, embarrass you in public, something like that, but you're trying to like keep it on the down low. Yeah, right, I'm going to leave it there because that's quite a long one. So that is all my signs done for the week. I'll probably start the air signs again next Sunday. They haven't been great for anyone, to be honest. I've got a couple of outliers, as I say. I was hoping fire would be better. So it's just one of those weeks, you know, as above, so below and all that. Have a good one, nonetheless, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.